My grandpa got arrested for demolishing his own shed, but his response in court left everyone speechless. My phone rang at 2 a.m. on a Tuesday. Hey kiddo, it's grandpa. I'm in jail and I need you to come get me. I sat up in bed confused. My 82-year-old grandfather had never even gotten a speeding ticket. Jail. What happened? Well, apparently you can't tear down your own shed at midnight. Who knew? The next morning I posted his $1,000 bail and got the full story. Grandpa had been secretly living in his backyard shed for 3 months after grandma kicked him out for buying his 4th motorcycle without telling her. She said I had to choose between her and the bike, he explained as we drove home. So I chose both. Figured I'd live in the shed until she cooled off. The problem started when a nosy neighbor complained to the city about someone illegally camping on residential property. When the code enforcement officer showed up at 11 p.m. with a flashlight, Grandpa panicked. I thought if there was no shed, there was no violation, he said. So I grabbed my crowbar and started taking it apart. Made perfect sense to me. The officer called backup when he found an elderly man demolishing a structure in the dark, mumbling about property rights and matrimonial law. You should have seen their faces, Grandpa chuckled. 3 squad cars for one old man with a crowbar. I kept telling them I was helping with their investigation. The arrest report was hilarious. It said Grandpa was found standing in a pile of wood planks at midnight, still holding the crowbar, explaining to officers that he was conducting emergency home improvement to comply with city ordinances. They asked if I'd been drinking. He laughed. I said no, but I had been thinking, which is apparently just as dangerous. 2 weeks later, we sat in municipal court. The prosecutor was young, maybe 25, and clearly wanted to make an example. He laid out the charges: illegal demolition, destruction of property, resisting arrest, and disturbing the peace. Your Honor, Grandpa stood up slowly with his cane. I wasn't resisting anything. I was cooperating fully. Judge Martinez looked skeptical. How exactly were you cooperating, Mr. Peterson? Well, the officer said I was living in an illegal structure, so I removed the structure. Problem solved. I even stayed to clean up the mess. He pulled out his flip phone and showed the judge photos of neatly stacked wood piles. See, I organized all the debris by size. Nails in one bucket, screws in another. My wife always says I'm terrible at cleaning, but I think I did pretty good here. The prosecutor tried to interrupt, but Grandpa kept going. I've been married 58 years, Your Honor. When my wife tells me to get out, I get out. When the city tells me I can't live somewhere, I make sure I can't live there. I'm just a man who follows orders promptly and efficiently. He turned to face the prosecutor. This young man should be giving me a medal, not jail time. Most people would have fought the citation, hired lawyers, dragged this out for months. I solved the entire problem in 2 hours. The entire courtroom started laughing, including the court reporter and the bailiff. Judge Martinez was trying not to smile. And where exactly are you living now, Mr. Peterson? Motel 6 on Highway 9. Got a great weekly rate. Continental breakfast and pool access included. Much better than the shed, honestly. The Wi-Fi actually works, and they change the towels every day. Grandpa reached into his jacket pocket and pulled out a motel receipt. Already paid for another month. Turns out they have a hot tub and cable TV. My wife might have done me a favor kicking me out. The prosecutor was shaking his head, but even he was smiling now. Mr. Peterson, the judge continued, you do realize you could have just applied for a permit to demolish the shed legally. Your Honor, at my age, permits take longer than I might have left on this earth. I prefer the direct approach. Judge Martinez banged his gavel softly. Case dismissed. Mr. Peterson, next time maybe just get a hotel first and skip the demolition. As we walked out, Grandpa winked at me. Already called your grandmother, told her about the hot tub. She might be joining me next weekend. Wait, you're getting back together. Son, 58 years of marriage teaches you that sometimes the best way to win an argument is to let the other person think they won. Plus, she hates doing laundry, and the motel has a coin-operated machine right next to the ice